You know, one of the other things too, like you see, we've got Noob, who is going to be playing this Puck. This is actually one of his heroes that he got a lot of, I don't want to say notoriety, but like some attention for was like that and Melina. So I am very excited to see what they can do over on Ooreedo, though, with, you know, having Noob back, not having Russell. But yeah, you know, the Deboosters lineup, it looks pretty solid.
30 seconds.
It does. It does look solid. I think this is a really good anti-mage game. You basically counter all three cores of Ooreedo to a degree. You know, DK, you drain his mana on the lane. You don't really care if he's this, like, tanky guy because he has no mana. Puck, very great mana void target. Medusa, you obviously drain all of her mana. Very solid anti-mage game. However, I do have high hopes for Noob that he could go for some, like, right-click Puck build. You know, Witchblade into, like, eventual Desolate or something like that. Because I feel like there's not much to deal with this AM. If he gets off to a good start on Pleb, it's going to look really good. Unless Noob goes for some physical damage build.
Get a little bit of a nice start over here in this top lane. Seeing the Grimstroke go and land that double stroke of fate. Drag Knight was able to grab up the rune, so it's looking pretty good. For the most part. But yeah, I'm interested to see how aggressive that Pleb is going to be playing this anti-mage as well. If memory serves, like we talked about this in game number 1, this is a player that likes to be aggressive, likes to play things like this Tiny or whatnot. But I have this... It's been a while since watching him, but I definitely seem to remember him being very aggressive, something very similar to like Pakaz out of South America, who, you know, plays these heroes that usually, and I mean, we talk about aggression, we're already seeing that aggression coming out right here, right now. Does have to be careful though, because he's taking a decent amount of damage, and they've got another stun coming up. Yeah, so I guess I just went with the curse. My goodness.
Yep, a little too aggressive. I mean, I can understand it. You're on AM, you're playing against a squishy Grimstroke. You know, you're playing against Dragon Knight, you want to drain his mana. But until you have level 2, level 3, you know, you can't blink out. You don't have that counter spell. Like, you are able to die. Yeah,
maybe perhaps thinking that he was going to burn off the mana so that way he wouldn't have the other Dragon Tail, perhaps? I'm not sure.
Yeah, something
along
those lines. Oh, Pleb? Going for a little bit of a pause here. Needs to reset mentally. His team's yelling at her. He's probably yelling at his team, typical carry player fashion. Still CSing decently up here, though, despite a bit of a first blood blunder, I would call that. Let's see, how are the other lanes going? This bot lane, we're about to hit level 2 on our heroes. Monster kill. Yo, dude, you're a little, you know, little squishy. Low armor, tree and protector. Actually does living armor himself, so all right. Almost gets himself killed. Now he's going to pull the lane back. Top lane again. All right, more aggression. DK actually goes
going
down.
The way. Yeah, I think they wanted it this way. The first time, but... And they're going to go in for another one. They're going to go right after Skulls. And yeah, that's just 2 kills going off to Pleb. So that fear of having this anti-mage starting to accelerate early, starting to get a little spooky here.
Yeah, I honestly, I mean, we'll see what build he goes for, but I do feel like a Vanguard build, like he would not be able to die in this game if he gets a Vanguard. It's just, it's too much HP and there's too much magical damage coming out of the side of Ooreedo. So we'll see what he goes for. I feel like with a Vanguard, he could like run at the Medusa early and pressure a lot. But also, if he's having a really good game and he feels like he doesn't need that tank ability, like he can just go for the Battle Fury and just, you know, get super fat.
Another stun coming in, this time turning around over onto the Ogre. Be able to connect, and Pleb trying to just burn off some of the mana, trying to go and harass. Just blink away.
Yeah, he's got his Ring of Health now if he wants to go buy it. Bloody Massacre. He's going for the stun. I feel like he might be a bit out of position here, though.
Yeah, he's not looking too healthy right now as he is getting chased down. Falcon looking for this opening, but doesn't have any mana left, so not going to be able to go and throw out any stuns, any slows. But Pleb, he can just blink forward, and he says, oh, no, you're not even worth my time. Although we do have enough mana, so Massacre has to be a bit careful. Little Ignite getting tossed out, but it is just a level 2 Ignite.
Gonna have to use another salve up here. Yeah, I mean, this is both both sides in this lane kind of harassing a lot. You know, I'd favor anti-mage.
This aggression is pretty funny to see between the two of these guys, though, for sure.
Yeah. It's like neither of them are really farming that well in that lane just
No.
because there's like so much harass coming out.
Do you see rotation, though, coming out over into the mid lane? They're going to try to make some plays over onto Noob. In fact, we'll be able to go and make sure that he doesn't have that regen. Does have a little bit of living armor, though. And he's just going to try to make up top, although Eva also running over there. I think Noob should be able to grab it in time. Oh, you said so low. That was a little scary, but we'll be able to refill the bottle.
Yeah, cool. I mean, cool call for him. I feel like most people will just back off at that point. You know, scared that you're going to die to the Sleight of Fist, but trusting the Treant armor to actually protect him. Knowing that the Ember doesn't have anything other than just the Flame Guard, which had, you know, timed out.
A little bit of bottle service here for Noob in the mid lane, so he's very happy. But I did like the play that they made with having the Hoodwink rotate and try to, you know, pressure for the runes, because those are so important for a puck.
Yeah, Puck versus Ember. I mean, any like Spirit versus Spirit or Spirit versus like Spirit type hero, you always want to go for those runes, even at 4 minutes. Bloody Massacre might actually take the... Nah, it's Ogre.
I don't think so.
It's Ogre.
It's all Ogre now.
Yeah, it is. It's all Ogre for Ogre. I mean, he's got to run back to base. He's maybe gonna get a pull off though.
Get the nice pick off though here. You know, Hoodwink does enjoy being around trees, and when there's a treant on the enemy team, is going to be able to take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, not exactly the hero that you want to be standing in trees against is that Hoodwink. So, somewhat of a counter for, you know, for that reason. At least in the laning stage, like it's somewhat of a counter. I mean, outside of the laning stage, not really, but it is funny how that works.
We'll toss back a little bit more here, but do have some movement coming out. As P1 taking the long way around here. We'll run into Skulls, hoping probably to put some pressure over onto Noob. He does have some wards on him as well, so just trying to do a little mission here. What else is going on, though? Again, this rotation coming out from Hoodwink, proving to be very, very useful, as they do manage to make sure that Noob cannot refill that bottle again.
Yeah, both mid laners are unhappy with this right now, basically. Like, the supports all show up. As a result, you have this, like, 2v2 support battle on both sides. And so, like, one of the supports just denies the rune for the other guy, which means neither mid gets the rune. And then both side laners are just like, all right, get some solo XP. Not bad, not bad.
Interesting to note that we aren't seeing any sort of, like, real stacking going on. You can see that we do have, like, the sentry ward that's been placed over here in this one camp, trying to make sure that, you know, they can't get any sort of acceleration, but not a lot of mana here on Bloody Massacre. As you can see that P1 making his way over, opens with the Fire Blast. They're just gonna start chopping away over at Massacre. Throws out the Dragon Tail, does have that living armor, but trying to make as much possible, as much happen here in this top lane, knowing that he doesn't have a support here, and they are just going to town. Again, fairly tanky to see those body blocks coming out. It's gonna take a lot to take down Bloody Massacre, but they have enough, especially with that Mana Void, as Anti-Mage just hit that 6.
Yeah, that Mana Break slow just looks so good when you max out Mana Break, which is what most people do these days. Even against like a DK who has max passive, still able to actually end up taking him down, like slow and steady, you know. But they got him there. Like 3 points in passive on DK, so he's, you know, the fact that he has 3 points in passive and he's still dying, it's not really not a great sign.
It's just a testament to how aggressive that they've been in this lane as well, right? Because normally, you know, you see a DK and you're like, it's gonna be pretty difficult to take him down. We're not even gonna bother. But Pleb and this, you know, this Ogre have just been running at him non-stop, it feels, in this top lane, which is why the CS doesn't look as impressive as it normally would for an AM.
Yeah, it's funny. You'd think like Anti-Mage is not that good against, you know, a DK type hero because DK just has this passive and like you can't Mana Break a passive, right? Like doesn't do anything. But you know, the inability to use his stun ever, or, you know, any of his spells, it's like you're gonna win trades with DK not by like killing him, by taking his mana. It's the same thing why like people picked Bounty Hunter versus Timbersaw mid. It's not that you're gonna kill the Timber, it's that you steal his gold while you're hitting him. Other heroes get nothing for hitting him. So Anti-Mage functions exactly the same.
I mean, that's just the beauty of this game, right? The fact that, you know, there's a surface level to it, but then also there's all these like mini interactions where you're thinking about maybe not necessarily winning the lane, but top lane, they go for the Dream Coil. Pleb sitting very low, but looks like he's gonna survive. They try to go for the slight here. Eva joining back in. We'll push everyone back. So they did pop the dragon form to be able to try to pull off this gank, but this anti-mage still alive. Just got a ring of health. He's gonna go heal up and make his way right back into the jungle.
I feel like nothing can go right for these guys. Like, that's just unlucky at that point. That was a good gank. It was a great try. Like, I think that should have killed Anti-Mage there, but like he just has full wand charges. A few damage rolls were like not high enough, and he survives with, you know, one hit away from dying. And the DK ticks almost took him down, but they just barely didn't. It's just unfortunate.
And we get that Fiend's Gate coming out. The team shows up, and they get themselves a quick kill over on Medusa, and they'll get themselves a double kill as they take out Treant and put some pressure on the tower. Talk about that global presence. But they do realize that the Ogre is alone here in the top lane. So they are going to try to make a kill come out of this, perhaps put some more pressure on the tower. But P1's making them work for it here. Eventually, will fall to Bloody Massacre. But now they got to push a wave and be able to safely hit this tower as Mad Frog, again, this hoodwink. Just so on point here with these rotations. But you can see the bottom lane with that Fiend's Great. Everybody just shows up and does their part to take down the Medusa.
Is this a replay? We're watching the replay here.
It was a replay, yeah.
That was a replay. I did not see the replay. I was too obsessed with the Fiend's Gate. That was a really cool Fiend's Gate, though. Like, he used it to go back to base to heal up. And at the same time, his anti-mage was TPing out of top when he was really low HP, surviving that gank. And so it means that he can come to this bot lane and kill the Medusa, even though he actually TP'd to the fountain and got full resources. So I've never seen Fiend's Gate used like that. Usually it's used like aggressively, like you're going through it to do something, not like, you know, he basically put a teleporter up for his team to use. Like back when he's like, here, anti-mage, come, you know, come to where I am. Almost like a recall instead of using it like a Boots of Travel, you know? Most people use it like a Boots of Travel.
That's an interesting concept. You have to be a bit careful here, though. They use the Overgrowth. They've already used the Dream Coil, but they just don't have enough lockdown here for Pleb. Just a little bit too tanky as now Falcon. He did rotate, trying to keep them alive here. Good bushwhack coming into play. Noob, he wants his final kill, and he will get it. But now they have to chase down Monster Kill. They'll get that. And Noob, oh, the slight coming in from Evo, ensuring that they clean up. And look at this. They've got a Cardi Wave here in the bottom lane. They've got a couple heroes dead. This is a very valuable rotation as now Evo making his way back to the mid lane. Does get silenced up, but the rest of the team is nearby.
Ooh, that was nice. That actually, it's gonna net them a kill.
Yeah, that is indeed.
Very nice. Was it Mad Frog and Evo? That was Grimstroke and Ember Spirit from the previous game, right? Or sorry, Grimstroke
Evo is currently the...
And Pango,
yes,
Pango.
Yes, the Pango.
Okay, yeah. These guys have synergy, man. These guys have like, they're bubbies. They're definitely bubbies. So you can tell when somebody is a pair of bubbies, and that's them.
You love to see it. It's always nice when you can see these core players that have that one support that they've got super good synergy with and kind of travel around together.
Yeah, it is nice. There's not enough friendship in Dota.
Could all use a little bit more friendship in our lives. There's a lot of animosity and frenemies, I guess. Again, Dusa, though, oh man, they know exactly where she wants to be. They'll use the Dream Coil here from Noob, but there's no mana left, so end up taking down the Dusa. Followed up, though, with the double silence. They can turn this back around. They'll be able to take down P1, and Evo looks like he'll be next to fall. Funnick also silenced up. Does have to be careful. They go in for the bushwhack. They're trying to buy a bit more time here as Funnick turns back around. He wants his kill over onto Bloody Massacre, but he's getting kited left and right. So a nice team fight coming out now for Ooreedo.
Yeah, very nice triple coil there. Or maybe it was a double coil. Bot lane. He should be fine on Pleb.
He's playing with fire a little bit, though. He's been sitting very low. Oh, but of course, you know, he digs himself up a salve, so...
Convenient.
No
Very
problem.
convenient.
Gaben does favor the core players, apparently. Oh, and now he's got his little Ogre Magi. He's going to walk right into Bloody Massacre. A little bit of aggression, but... You have to be careful. The teleports are coming in. Silence will be placed over into P1.
Sorry, that replay's on the screen. I'm still looking at this this replay here. Yeah, the Ink Swell in both games has looked super effective. It's funny, like we talk about that hero being you know, there's always that guy in chat that's talking about how it's like the weakest hero, really low win rate, etc., etc. But it looks so good in these competitive games as Pleb just gets a straight up solo kill. Doesn't even need his ogre to press any buttons. It was legit just a solo kill on the tree.
I mean, the tree's been down there for a while now. Sharpshooter connecting in this lane, but they go and they drop the Dream Coil. Mad Frog running around in circles, trying to dodge around. Funnick doing the best he can, but they'll end up losing that Hoodwink. As now Bloody Massacre is alone. No mana left over on this Dragon Knight as they chip away over here, but again, fairly tanky. Evo, though, joining in. It's looking to get out some damage. There it is. They'll drop the hold. Noob is gonna fall, and they'll end up losing Bloody Massacre as well.
Oh, look top. Look top. Oh my god, there was an illusion rune right there. Noob was legit just about to get to it and dispel the ignite. Like, his corpse, if you click to where his corpse is, it's right on the rune. He was legit one tick. Like, one extra millisecond, and he picks up a rune and dispels the ignite. That is so sad. They can't catch a break, man. They can't catch a break. I feel like Ooreedo is actually playing pretty well this game. But things are just not going their way.
It's these little tiny mistakes, right? Or maybe not even mistakes, but just these chances of fate that can really just throw everything off. That's one thing that I know the guys are always saying during DPC. They'll hold that thought. Bloody Massacre jumping in over onto Evo. Does manage to go and land that Inkswell. Can they burst down fast enough? Yeah, they'll be able to take out the Ember. They'll go for the Overgrowth now over onto Hoodwink. That'll be the next person to fall. And now the chase is on. They see P1. Pleb kind of hanging out over here on the side. Decide whether he wants to go in. He does see Noob. Immediately try to jump away. Drops the Dream Coil over onto 3. And they're kiting very nicely right now over onto Ooreedo. But doesn't matter. They'll end up still losing. They'll lose skulls too. As P1 and Funnick. They're pretty tanky boys. I'm not sure though. They'll turn back around. They are just playing with their food, it feels a little bit like now. But okay, yeah, they'll be able to take down Bloody Massacre. Eventually they'll lose P1, but they'll cut down a tree. And somehow during all of this, Pleb still surviving.
You know why he survived? It's because he dug up another salve and then used it for like 10% HP and then jumps back in. Every single time this guy's at like 1% HP, it's like, oh, I have to get out. Oh, I'll go ahead and try and dig up a salve. He does dig up a salve, and then he can go back in and get 2 more kills.
Thank you.
Even get salves delivered to him here too from Mad Frog.
Check this out. Check this out. Like, so he goes in, almost dies. Another 3-man coil, 4-man, whatever. He's about to die, blinks out. He's like, oh, don't mind if I do. I'll go ahead and use my trusty shovel, ticking down from the DK spells. Like, he can't go in right now. Digs up the salve.
Oh my god.
Now he can go back in. He's got the salve to work with. It like gives him just enough that he can go back in. It's so goofy that things like that can happen in Dota. You know he's not banking on it, but he digs it up like thinking, if I do get the salve, then I can go back in. And then it just happens, and he's like, all right.
Top lane, though, another fight is breaking out, and they'll lose this Dusa yet again as Skull's trapped in the tree line here. Do have some silence out, but it's a couple slides, a couple walks around here from Funnick. We'll be able to make sure that they land that Firestorm, and they'll put pressure on the top tier 1 as well. Feels bad when you have a Treant Protector over on Ooreedo, and they keep losing these towers. They just can't do enough here. Middle lane, though? Again, Noob trying to just put out a little bit of damage here with Bloody Massacre. They'll go and they'll double up on the ults here as they eventually are able to take down Pleb, which is a big one, but now Monster Kill. It's taking a lot of tower damage. This is not looking good for him. The slight comes through, collects, and Bloody Massacre is going to be the dragon flying away here as they're not able to get the tower, but did manage to get themselves an anti-mage, so that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, surely like Pleb goes down at this point, you know? Like, I feel like he's been really pushing the limits here.
Yes. And digging up salves last minute, yeah, I would say so.
Twice, yeah, not just once, twice. Yeah, I think that's a deserved death. Like, he's playing like he has a Vanguard.
Dusa getting held in place, the Pit of Malice. They just have so much damage. Bloody Massacre does blink in. He's trying to get the assistance, does manage to land the Inkswell again with that blink. The Soulbind off over here on the side. So looks like they'll be able to keep the Medusa alive. Evo, though, sitting a little bit low. They've got a silence. Could be the Stone Gaze getting popped by the Medusa. But again, getting held in place. Funnick just being in a great position at all times here. It's going to be very tight here for Dusa, but she is going to survive. Bloody Massacre, though, is not looking too hopeful as he's trying to get a kill on the way out, but won't be able to finish off P1.
Dusa that whole time had 21 charges, so he was actually just kind of debating there. Ooreedo, they put themselves out of position a little bit, like they split up in the team fight, and it results in losing the DK. I think if they play that fight a little more together, that might actually end up going their way. Although Anti-Mage was not even there. Like, Pleb would, you know, he's doing the reasonable thing, which is farming with the Battle Fury, which is probably, you know, what you should do. You're not exactly tanky to show up the fights right now. Like, he's showing up with the Battle Fury, which is very greedy. But once he has this Manta style, then it's like, it's actually reasonable for him to show up, and the Deuce doesn't survive like that. That fight goes a whole lot worse.
I mean, that's the scary thing right now as you look at Slaw, and he's sitting at 7.7k net worth, where the Anti-Mage 9.9. And granted, Deuce is one of those heroes that can farm and move pretty quickly. Oh, look at this, the Fiend's Gate's already getting dropped. Team showing up. It's gonna be a little bit off the mark though with a Pit of Malice, but they'll follow up with an Atos. This mana is just gone, and so is Slaw.
This is not a hero that we see. How do I say this? I feel like Underlord is underutilized for what
He's been showing up a little bit more recently. Like if you watch,
he shows up a little bit.
Pleb. Oh, the Meteor Hammer coming into play with the silence. They've got the lockdown. This is gonna end up in a kill though, is the question. Yes, it is. So again, they'll end up losing Pleb. Skulls will fall here. Monster Kill also not looking like he's going to be able to survive this as he gets cut down. But they do manage to slow down the AM again. Top lane, silence gets placed over onto Evo as Bloody Massacre following up with the Dragon Tail. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to hold down this Ember Spirit though, because he does have these remnants up. So without that lockdown, it's like Evo should be fine. Noob tossing out just a casual orb, just trying to get some vision, trying to poke, be annoying, get Evo out of the jungle. Doesn't have that kill potential, doesn't have quite enough lockdown as he'll zip back up behind the tower. And buyback down to the bottom lane. They don't want to lose this tower. Massacre again drops a fireball, has a shard online. Not a lot of mana though, so follow up. We'll be able to stun up Funnick, and they'll be able to take down the Underlord as the rest of the team is gonna back off.
Oh my god, Ogre actually survives. Shad Ogre. Yeah, that was a cool buyback. I mean, you know, he was about to respawn, I'm pretty sure, and he buys back anyway just because they realized that it's the only way that they're gonna save the tier 2. Good call, very good call from them. It's a weird call, but it's a good one. It's a hard one to make.
I feel like they can't afford to lose this space, right? Because Deuce needs to be able to go and hit creeps. They've got good vision coming out from the side of Deboosters over in the triangle. That's where they constantly are jumping on the Medusa. So yeah, I think that's pretty solid judgment to make sure that they can keep this room.
Yeah, I agree. And if there's any time to fight, actually, they're going on the DK right now.
Are going over onto Bloody Massacre. Ooh, Evo. All right, the follow-up, though. Good Pit of Malice, but Pleb jumping forward is just going to be able to interrupt Monster, so he can't do anything. So they end up losing Tree. They end up losing DK. Skull's now running for his life. They've got a couple of these illusions to do a little bit of damage here, but this is not looking good here for the Grimstroke as he gets pinned to the tree, and down he falls.
You know, I mean, at least during this time, I know they lose 3 heroes, obviously not good, but at least during this time, it's not one of those fights like in the previous game when this was happening, everybody on Ooreedo was showing up to the fight, and then still it was going poorly. Like, at least at this point, they have Noob who's farming, they have Slaw who's farming bot, so it could be worse, and you can see that reflected in the gold lead. This is nowhere near as bad as what last game looked like, although it is closing in on them. They do want to make something happen pretty soon.
I mean, this bottom tower is not long for this world, I have a feeling, and that's going to make it a lot more difficult for Slaw to be able to get out, hit these creeps as needed. And already we've got, you know, we've talked about there being a bit of a lead over in this Anti-Mage, but that growth is just going to be so much bigger if they end up losing this tower. In fact, Bloody Massacre teleporting down immediately. Noob also getting into position. Do a little bit of scouting with the orb, and they'll just push it out, but Deboosters still firmly in the area, not willing to give up a single inch of the space.
And they go smoke for Medusa because they know that there's this like overcommitment to defending the bot tower because you know that they have this tree and they want to just keep healing the tower. So, although Slaw, he reads
Look
it.
how fast Slaw's just like, something's not right.
He draws the arrow. He's right. That's exactly the way that they took. They are literally right there in smoke.
And they don't have any vision either. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. It's just like, okay, no one's showing on the map, and it doesn't seem like they're pushing. They have to be beelining for me, you know. So good intuition coming out from Slaw.
Yep, for sure, for sure. I mean, if they're not pushing the tier 2, like with the lead they have, like what the hell else are they doing? Roshan is really the only other answer. And they, you know, they could take it. Deboosters at some point. Like, I feel like Roche would be kind of free for them. Just tough when you're Dire. Like, when you're Dire, you want to play bot because it's the enemy jungle and you want to get that tier 2, but that's, you know, the opposite side of where Roshan is, so it does suck to be Dire when you're winning. But suffering from success, you're winning, so.
Top tower is under attack.
Again, you can see some of this movement trying to flush out. Do have the Grimstroke teleporting directly in, but we'll cancel it. Just gonna see Mad Frog over here. Noob is also... No, he decides against it. He says, nope, I don't know where other people are. I want to get out. He's gonna leave. Skulls is going to leave in a body bag, most likely. As Pleb just giving him a couple clicks here. So a good call by Noob, I think, to back out.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's an example of, like, where there were two different ideas going on. Like, Grimstroke wants to go in, and Noob is just like, no, dude, like, I'm split pushing, like, I'm cutting waves here, like, I don't think this is a good play, and it results in this goofy thing happening where, like, Grimstroke could have gotten out, but he cancels the TP, and it's like, there's no amount of juking in the world that he can do to survive there.
Got the move over towards this mid tower now. Still have the tier 2 up bottom. They're healing it up, trying to keep it alive, so that's something going very well for the side of Ooreedo. But they do have to be careful because every time this Deuce, there's only 2 places that Deuce can be, and they're so quick on the side of Deboosters to immediately realize, okay, she's not here. We know exactly where she is now. Let's make the move. Let's interrupt her farming.
I feel like Slaw's been doing a pretty good job this game of cat and mouse, though. You know, it's like he's still very farmed. 12K net worth in a game that's looking pretty rough. Like, he's not, other than like the very early game that we saw, like, he's not getting caught out that much. He is kind of reading their movements. And when he has the BKB, that's the timing versus anti-mage, because then you can't actually be, you know, mana broke.
Right. Again, like, there's not a lot of vision being placed up. Like, we do have this one ward over here on the eye spot over in the Dire side, but that's mostly just for Noob, I feel, for when he's kind of split pushing, because that's really all he can do right now. He's got to be able to do a bit of split pushing, buy them some more time, buy them time for Monster Kill to be able to go and heal up towers, because otherwise they get pinned, right?
Yeah, and it's keeping them in the game. Like, Noob is actually huge. He's more farmed than Evo, who's on the winning side and has total free farm. You know, free ability to move around the map as he pleases, but Noob is huge. I mean, Kaya and Sanj, Boots of Travel, Witchblade, like, this is a very farmed puck. Magic damage build, though, so Noob is going to be focusing on killing everybody but the anti-mage, and I do worry, like, how do you kill the anti-mage with these heroes? You're banking on your Medusa. He does have a Crystallis, so he's going for, like, a right-click damage build. So eventually Medusa can kill AM, but not yet.
He just needs so much lockdown, which I guess is the issue here, as Pleb is feeling very bold. Does get silenced, double silenced even with the Phantom's Embrace. But do have to play a little bit carefully and more on the defensive coming out from the side of Ooreedo. Do have the Blink Dagger, though, from Treant Protector, so that'll be able to get them in a nice position. Just have to be careful that they don't lay the ults on top of each other, because we have seen that a couple times with this Puck Dream Coil and the Overgrowth.
Yeah, and now Pleb has full Scotty as well as Manta style, so it's not so easy to just, like, you know, Treant ult him or coil him. Like, he has enough HP to survive these spells. It's gonna take, like, a full set of lockdown with Medusa hitting to take down anti-mage right now with these items he has, and he's going for a BKB as well, which is gonna make him, like, basically unkillable. And the question is, like, okay, maybe if he goes for a battle or goes for the BKB, like, they lack damage because he's gone for that item. Maybe that's what you can bank on, but he's definitely not dying when he gets the BKB.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes that's all that matters, right? Is the fact that you're able to survive the fight, get a couple of these extra clicks out, get the kills, get the gold, and then live to fight another day. Even
yeah, I mean,
not everything goes perfectly.
I suppose the reasoning is, like, if you're Pleb, you believe that your mana break is really what's going to be doing all the damage here, because you're up against Dusa, DK, and Puck, 3 heroes that don't like to be mana broke. So, like, you just go for these tanky items after your Battle Fury, because you know if you don't die, you're going to win anyway.
They see this AM. The question is, does Pleb Spidey Spence? Oh boy. Yeah, they see him. He immediately does, yeah.
He
That
blinks
was
into
close.
them and survives. That's so funny because he dodges the DK stun just barely.
God, imagine how much breathing room that would have given them if they were able to get that kill.
Radiant are scanning.
Feels like a little.
Fast button pushing.
Yeah, does feel a little too late. Like I'm not. I think they need all 5 heroes to hit to kill him. But you know, even then, the question still remains: like, is it enough? And I don't know. With you know, 45% magic resist and almost 3,000 HP with the Manta style, like they legit might not have enough damage with their lockdown to kill him.
I mean, they're at least hanging in there. They still have quite a ceiling that they could hit, but Bloody Massacre does get jumped on. And there's so much damage here. Inkswell does come into play, but not enough to keep him alive. So a nice pick-off coming out for the side of Deboosters, and Ooreedo probably getting a little nervous about this, but see Puck poking around here. Managed to get himself a nice little pick-off, but might pay for this with his life. In fact, he's definitely paying for this with his life, not with Funnick there to be able to throw. They just have so much lockdown, I feel, too, coming out from the side of Deboosters as they do find monster kill. Okay, the follow-up, the BKB already getting dropped. Go for that overgrowth, but... and Funnick just like, wait, you guys are killing without me? Drops the Fiend's Gate just so he can get there as fast as possible.
I gotta say, shout out to Mad Frog for resisting the urge to tip there. If an enemy mid-puck suicides to kill you as a support, I can guarantee you 90% of players have the urge to tip there. But just keeping it good-mannered, you know, knowing they're winning, doesn't want to, you know, feel like he's punching down right now. He knows Noob's gotta go for these kills, you know. That's respect. I can appreciate that. Because if you're a little hoodwink and a puck goes on you like that, you're thinking about tipping that guy. I mean, let's be real here.
I mean, you feel like there's a little bit of desperation just hoping for, like, whatever you can grab, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely going a lot better, though, than game number 1, where they felt very, very far behind. This time, you know, kind of keeping pace has been difficult. This anti-mage is massive, but, you know, you do have that Deusa. There is the possibility of, you know, perhaps you take a couple good fights, you get a couple good pickoffs, but it is kind of a hope and a prayer when you take a look at some of the... Yeah, look at this. Oh, monster kill. Is dead.
Magic thyself out of that.
Yep.
The rest of the team is over here, and I don't think they want to be. Pleb already getting that bloodlust, sees himself that Medusa, the blink forward though coming up. Bloody Massacre has Mad Frog over on the side. They burst through a lot of this mana, but all right, the Stone Gate's coming into play. Already lost the Hoodwink here. Looks like Slaw will survive. Skull's hiding over on the side. The fine Bloody Massacre. This chase is still on. They really will. Look at this Fiend. Look at this Fiend's game. Funnick says, no way. You're not getting away. Oh my God. The GGs get dropped.
And that's GG. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy. I mean,
Radiant's top tower.
tough game. Tough game. It looked like a great anti-mage game. Pleb was playing like kind of a maniac, but it was working out, man. Like he ran the calculations. He just knew that he could go into every